Hi guys, welcome back on this Sunday. Today is a really important day for Bitcoin. Even though we're going down here a little bit, I'm telling you, this is not the move that we are waiting for. And there is something really big coming that I'm going to show you in today's episode here. Let's go. Guys, thank you so much here for tuning in on this Sunday. I know we just started, but don't forget, guys, if you're just joining in here, smash up the like button. More people need to see the stream here, and that will only happen if we get the likes out, guys. Destroy the like button. Let's get it, guys. So we start off with the CME chart because when we are looking currently at the spot market price for Bitcoin, what can we see there? We see that Bitcoin is currently, I think, still trading under $96,000. We are on the way to the downside. So what I said yesterday is actually coming here into fruition. Most likely we will not get a CME gap if we continue this downwards move here, getting closer to the CME closing price of Friday to $95,100 approximately. And from there then basically in 12 hours, more or less, a little bit less than 12 hours, we're going to get then here a recovery move back to the upside, and that will then initiate the bigger move that will get us past $100,000. Now, on the weekly chart, what do we need here? So here, actually, so I forgot something. So CME opens 1 hour before the daily close, which is good, because if the CME chart tells us that we don't have a CME gap and the price starts recovering, then also on the weekly chart, we can still print our tweezer bottom that I pointed out yesterday. And even if we would not do that, look at the indicators, guys. The stochastic will print a buy signal no matter what, unless we drop here tremendously to the downside, which I'm not expecting at all. And also the RSI remains here in a good shape. So even if we close here at $95,000 today for the CME chart, it doesn't really matter. Next week is definitely an up week for Bitcoin. The only question is how high will it actually go. So the first bigger problem that Bitcoin will have on the way to the upside will be the point of control to get here finally a foot in the door to break above that. But also here you see with the next 12-hourly close here, on the stochastic RSI, we are getting closer to the bottom. Most likely in the second half of tomorrow, we're going to initiate that move to the upside. I would not expect immediately that we are getting to $100,000 because we have so much resistance in between. But like 98, 99,000, something like that in that range could be definitely something that I can see happening in the next 24 hours, especially also with the RSI staying here neutral and also slightly pointing to the upside. Then on the 4-hourly time frame here, we are cooling down again on the MDX algo scalp gradient, which is absolutely fine. There's no issue with that. What we don't want is that we're starting here another green phase, so that would be not so good, because another green phase would mean that we break here below $95,000, and that means that we most likely the bigger part of next week are going to spend to recover what we lost here since the Bybit hack. And only then the following week will break above $100,000. But I would personally see that be happening already as early as possible by midweek, something like that, that we are there already trading above $100,000 once again. So on the reactor indicator, also here currently cooling down. And we need here more data to see here a turnaround. Currently, I don't see that. So there is in the short term definitely some downwards pressure. Would I short here in that market right now? No, definitely not. Not even for scalps, because you never know what's going to happen. Bybit can come out and say, hey, there's still a little bit here and there what we need to buy back, and then buy back, and then somebody else buys on top of that back, and then you get a spike to the upside, get liquidated, So that's why I would definitely stay away from shorting the market here at the current stage. So, but overall, something that caught my eye earlier, what I wanted to point out here, is that here that range is getting more narrow and narrow. You can see that here. Let me actually just make here these lines a little bit more visible. Let's make them not orange. Yeah, I'm kind of good. let's see let's actually make them green. So here you can see we are squeezing more and more in that range here. So at some point it has to break, So you see here by next week, Friday, we are getting really, really close to the end of it. And that tells me that at some point next week, we are going to get that break to the upside, at least above $98,000. Like I said, most likely going straight to fill that wick here at $99,500. And from there, it's not that far anymore to get across $100,000. So by next week, at some point, we should at least scratch on the $100,000 mark. And then by next week, pretty sure being above that level once again. So here on ZoomX, not going to hide this, guys. My trade is still doing well. I'm still up almost $20,000 on this trade. My Solana trade starts to suffer a little bit, but that is also fine because I just opened a limit order all the way down here close to a liquidation price to make sure that I will not get liquidated and just dollar cost average my position to the downside. So also here, I'm not really concerned about it that we're currently going down here a little bit and are at roughly $169. Again, if you want to 10x your ZoomX account with me together, once I reach here again $1 million, which will be most likely by the end of the coming week, then sign up with the link in the description below. You still get some sign-up bonuses just for signing up there. And if you deposit like $100, you get an additional $25 or something like that. So make use of that with the link in the description of this video, guys. So then here the liquidation levels. So the high leverage liquidity is building up here in that box again. So now you see that we are actually going to the downside to take out all the longs that had built up on the way to the upside. So let me actually see here. What was that? Oh, okay. So sorry, I got some transaction notifications from my card and I was like, what is that? So here we have high leverage liquidity on the long side. So, and that's what we're going for, So that can go all the way down to $95,000. I don't believe that we go much lower than that, but 95 is what I'm targeting here, just because the CME gap would be then non-existent. If we open around $95,000, the CME chart today again, later tonight, then we have no CME gap and just continue the upwards trajectory and then rinse and repeat the whole thing that we did here last week where we went down, go up, liquidate both sides, and then, but this time different, then we will actually continue to move here past the 200 moving average and get also here a golden cross some point in early March, for most likely in the first week of March. So now when we're looking at the liquidation heat map, also here you see a move down to $95,100, $95,000, something like that. Even here, $94,700 could be in the cards, just to take out that little bit of liquidity that has built up here. So, but when I look at this here, so here's a little space. So there's no liquidity. So it can stop between 95, what is that? 95, 370 and 95. Yeah. So somewhere in between, in my opinion, it's going to stop because I don't think that we are going here for that cluster down here. Because if I go into a lower time frame, you're going to see here. So I don't think that we're going all the way down here, but we could go all the way down here. Then below there is not a lot of liquidity for like $600-700 of a spread. And only then we would tap into bigger liquidity that has built up over the last 3 days. So that just doesn't make a lot of sense, to drive it all the way down here and then send it back up. Because there is no other logical reason than the CME gap to drive the price currently to the downside, So you want to go where the liquidity is and where where the institutions are going. So, and they went to $95,000 on Friday on spot. So they want to go down there again and then send it back to the upside. And you see here then $100,500 all the way up here to like $102,000. That's where the majority of liquidity is sitting. Then here on Bybit, of course, my trade suffering once again massively. Also here, I keep holding, so I will keep adding more to that. But like I said, because I think that we can come down here to like $95,000, I'm going to wait, so I'm going to wait and see if that's happening. And then I'm going to add more to this trade here. Again, another $2,000, which will average down my entry price by another $500. Yeah, and that's my plan that I have here in the short term for Bitcoin. So when I go here, let me actually have a look here. Was it on a 4-hourly chart, or was it on a higher time frame? 1-hourly chart. No, it was actually not here. So something that I also want to point out here quick on that Bybit chart, you should not ignore that this is usually a bearish pattern. You know, when you see charts rolling over like this, is not good usually. You know, so what follows when you see something like this is that we come down here and then you get another leg to the downside, and then usually we come back up, form somewhat of a reversal pattern and continue upwards, you know. So, but I believe this time this might be a trap to confuse people, you know, because a lot of market participants are aware of that, that it usually goes that way, and instead they got just gonna send it a little bit downward sideways and then back to the upside. So also here, if you want to trade on Bybit, guys, don't forget, I'm gonna pull later maybe one winner, maybe multiple winners for next week. If you want to be in the draw, you can win here $500 on Bybit. I'm gonna fund your account that you can then trade with $500, guys. You only need to sign up there, deposit at least $100, then you get funded potentially with $500. I'm gonna pull by the end of the stream a winner. So, and also just a heads up, guys, I will not be really long here on the stream because I'm super hungry, could not eat anything, and somebody else has my so my problem is that my Bybit card is currently temporarily locked because I changed a password, and somebody else is with one of my other cards outside. So, and I'm starving right now, you know, so I have no way to get to pay through my phone anything right now. So I need to go to the ATM to get cash and then order something to eat because I'm super hungry. So that's why, just that you know, I'm not staying too long here on the stream, you know, because I'm literally starving. But anyway, on the Bitcoin dominance chart, we are breaking below here 61%. If we can close below that level today, then I definitely expect here continuation to the downside by tomorrow. I don't expect that we are coming back up here. Unless something crazy happens and Bitcoin goes really straight to like $100,000, then of course the dominance will come up here one more time, step into that resistance area here. Not really sure where it's going to stop, but I would say the highest point would be close to 62%. Don't see it going higher than that if it's going to happen. And then we go lower. But for now, everything points to the fact that over the next couple of days, we get here a little bit more continuation to the downside. So the total free market cap is also just sideways chopping here along, but at the same time, if you pay a little bit attention, also here we are forming a W pattern down here, and that tells you also that over the next couple of days we should come back here to like $945 billion, which will put a lot of pressure on altcoins to go to the upside, and that is exactly what we want to see. So now here with Ethereum, same old story than the other day. So we came up here, filled these wicks. I told you guys yesterday, you can technically try to enter here, you know, so, but I would rather do it up here because then it's more safe, you know, and now you see why, because that is now the, how many times did we try here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 10th time that we tried to break above $2,826, and we're not able to manage to do that. So, but I believe when Bitcoin starts moving back to the upside, that and Ethereum only consolidates here in that current range, then we're going to see then here a violent pop, most likely straight to $3,000 for Ethereum. So here again, the best setup to enter is either at a retest, you know, if you're a little bit more risk-averse to the downside, $2,760, or to play it safe at $2,826. So here on the 4-hourly chart, stochastic not looking really good, RSI is looking good, MACD is looking good, but let's see the higher time frames. Yeah, and also here, the stochastic not looking good, the rest is looking good. Also price action looking good. 12-hourly looks a little bit better, to be honest. So, but I want to warn you guys, don't get fooled by the stochastic. So I have seen many, many times where the stochastic was not aligning, but everything else was aligning, especially here, the RSI is still neutral, while the MACD is already flying and price action is also here pumping, and then you just get a monster candle to the upside, you know, and some people did not enter because they're like, I don't like it, the stochastic is so high here, you know, so that looks more like that we are rolling over, and it never happened, you know, and then you miss here like a 10-20% candle in a single day on Ethereum. So I rather take that risk to ignore the stochastic in that scenario, then potentially missing out on that opportunity and that move. So the same here with Solana on the 4-hourly chart. We can potentially expect a move down back here into that support box, anywhere between $166 to $163. I don't see us going lower. That would be also the last confirmation of a bigger W pattern here. When you look at this, so it's almost like a triple bottom actually that we have here. So if you treat it that way, then your technical target at a breakout here. Oh, this is also green. Nah, come on. So your technical target is then $211. No, sorry, $194.50. That's the technical target. Really close here to the short-term trade setup. That's still in play. And that is a 14% move, I think. A 10%, and 11, yeah, 10.5% move to the upside. So that's what I see for Solana on a daily chart. Yeah, on a daily chart, most likely tomorrow we are turning around. The RSI is here, definitely oversold. The MACD is turning around. Again, in that case, I ignore the stochastic because price is still consolidating here in the bottom range. But that the RSI is oversold tells me that also here a bigger pump is in the works for Solana to the upside. Here with Sui, yesterday I told you guys, wait for a break above 0.5 here on the Fibonacci extension levels. Now you see exactly why I told you this, to wait for that, because that is exactly the point where we got rejected. So here, again, if you miss that overall trade setup, just wait that we break 0.5. Here, the $3.44 level, that's where you want to enter this, and then you can trade this here into the golden ratio or into the final target here of $4.04. There's not much more to say to that. There's like, yeah, another 5-6 hours of downside, what I see, or sideways chop before this is turning around, which is not coinciding with the CME gap because that will be later today. Then Coty also just ranging sideways, looks similar from the indicators like sorry, like Solana. Also here, I mentioned it yesterday that we could potentially run into that cluster down here, which is currently the case. So, but as long as that is holding, expect from here another bounce back to the upside. Oh, something that just popped up in my head before I forget it, guys. My coaching program at AMCrypto.us. So I just wanted to let you know, because next week it's going to happen. I'm going to close it down, not forever, but for a couple of months, because I got so many new students that I need to focus on them, especially the ones that have bought the mentorship with me. So if you want to get my program or mentorship, do it before the 1st of March, guys. At the 1st of March, I will deactivate the payment links, so you cannot get in anymore for at least a couple of months. So if you want to learn from me how I make here insane money all the time, even though I'm also quite a bit sometimes in a loss, but not realized, then definitely go to amcrypto.us and do it in the next 6 days. Because I'm telling you, I'm not joking, on the 1st of March, I'm going to deactivate the payment links. You will not get in anymore. So that is your chance in the next 6 days to do it. Now, with Lido, Lido is actually holding up quite well because of Ethereum is doing well. Here, if we, let me actually get here into the 1-hourly chart. Yeah, so here the next 1-hourly candle in 20 minutes most likely will lead to that we come here a little bit up, all the way up to like $1.79 over the next 12 hours, I would say, maybe a little bit faster. So first $1.72, then maybe $1.80. There it's going to stop again, unless Ethereum will, for some weird reason, make a really nice move to the upside. So, but here short term, that's what I'm looking at. If you want to put a stop loss on that trade, I would set a stop loss here below these candles at $1.64. That's like a 2.5% move to the downside. But yeah, I would, yeah, so that's what I would do. So yeah, you can technically here wait another 18 minutes to see if we close the candle as it is. Then I would enter this with here that stop loss and then take profit 173, 179. That's where I would get out all of that. So let's do here maybe Aptos. Yeah, so Aptos is looking pretty good. So here also more upside definitely coming. We broke here that downward sloping trend line. We are potentially retesting this here in the current 4-hourly candle. So if we do, that would more or less be around the entry level of $6 of that trade setup that we had here originally. So you can enter that from there once again. And the rest remains, so I don't really see here Aptos breaking below that downward sloping trend line after it broke it finally, because that took a while, so that was like 4 days, 4 days consolidation period before we broke above that specific line here. Let's get a winner for today. Random number. And about Uber Eats. Uber Eats doesn't exist here. We have something similar like Uber Eats here. And it's like a multi-app, So you don't have only food in there. You can also call cars. You can send stuff with it. You can do so many things with that app. So they let you pay with cash, but I have right now no cash. So that's why I need to go to the ATM here in a moment. So let's have a look here. Bybit account, $500 from 11 to 27. Number 15. Number 15, 42213648. You won $500. Your account will get funded. You don't need to do anything. Don't send any emails. It's just makes it more complicated for my team, So we just do it automatically. Just wait until it gets credited, please. Because we had people messaging us, I did not get it yet, So but it was not our fault. So that's why I'm telling you, just don't send emails. We're gonna take care of it. Guys, that's it for today's episode. Make sure that you smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I get something to eat and hope to see you with more money tomorrow.